June 12th, South Carolina. A woman walked into a gym, smiled at the front desk, and started what looked like an ordinary workout. No one called 911. No one reported a crime. No one imagined they were looking at one of the last normal moments of her life. Just a few hours later, security cameras would capture that same woman wandering through an apartment complex she didn't live in, trying random doors, looking completely lost. A concerned resident finally stopped her and asked, "Ma'am, are you okay?" She looked back, hesitated, and quietly answered, "I don't know." Those 3 words would become one of the most haunting moments in this entire investigation. Because shortly after that, Elena Catherine Moore disappeared. Days later, her body would be found. But instead of answering what happened, the evidence only raised more questions. Was Elena suffering from a sudden medical emergency? Was someone following her? Or did something happen during those missing hours that investigators still can't fully explain? This is the final known timeline of Elena Catherine Moore. Who was Elena? Before we examine the surveillance footage, it's important to understand who Elena really was. She wasn't known for disappearing. She wasn't someone who simply walked away from her responsibilities. Friends described her as disciplined, caring, and dependable. As a fitness instructor, helping people was part of her everyday life. From the outside, her life appeared completely ordinary, which is exactly why this case became so unsettling. Because nothing about that morning suggested it would be the last normal day anyone would see her alive. The day everything changed. June 12th began like countless other Fridays. There were no reports of violence, no signs of panic, no obvious indication that anything was wrong. At some point that afternoon, Elena checked into Planet Fitness. To everyone around her, it looked like a completely routine visit. If you had walked past her that day, you probably wouldn't have remembered her. But sometimes, the beginning of a mystery doesn't look dramatic. Sometimes it looks completely ordinary. And that's exactly what makes this case so difficult to understand. Because after Elena left the gym, something changed. Something investigators are still trying to piece together. And the next security camera would capture the first clue that something was terribly wrong. The first signs that something was wrong didn't come from a phone call or a witness. They came from security cameras. After leaving the gym, Elena appeared in a nearby apartment complex. It wasn't where she lived. She didn't know anyone there. Yet, camera after camera captured her walking through the property, looking confused, almost as if she was searching for someone or trying to escape something only she could see. Residents would later describe her behavior as deeply unusual. She wasn't running, she wasn't screaming, she wasn't asking for help. She simply wandered from building to building, stopping at doors that weren't hers. At one point, she reportedly tried opening random apartment doors. Then, something even stranger happened. Witnesses said Elena began looking through packages that had been left outside, not stealing them, not taking anything, just looking, as if she expected to find something or someone. One resident finally approached her. The woman later recalled asking, "Ma'am, are you okay?" There was a long pause. Elena looked at her. Her expression seemed distant, almost disconnected. Then she quietly answered, "I don't know." 3 simple words, but investigators would later realize those words may have revealed more than anyone understood at the time. Because people who knew Elena said this wasn't the woman they recognized. She was organized, focused, confident. The person seen on those cameras looked completely different. And that's where the mystery becomes even darker. because after leaving the apartment complex, Elena didn't go home. She didn't call friends. She didn't return to the gym. Instead, the investigation would eventually lead detectives toward an area behind a Lowe's store, where the timeline becomes even more difficult to explain. But before we go there, another detail would surface. According to someone close to Elena, she had reportedly shared something deeply concerning just days before she disappeared, something investigators couldn't ignore. She had allegedly told a friend that she was scared for my life. What did she mean? Was she describing emotional distress? Was she afraid of someone? Or was it connected to what happened only days later? No one knows for certain. But from that moment forward, this case was no longer just about a missing woman. It had become a mystery filled with unanswered questions and a timeline that only grew stranger with every new piece of evidence. Coming up, the final confirmed sighting, the wooded area behind Lowe's, and the discovery that changed the investigation forever.